We're back with another episode. Will these comics make good film and television shows? Well, we got Batman and Robin. We have Madripor Knights with Wolverine. And we have Vampirella. So stay tuned right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending your time with me as I rant about movies and comics and board games. But today we're going to be ranting about these comics and were they written well? Were they written How's the art? And will they translate to the screen? So let's find out. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer. And if you want to check out something that I've written, we are doing Late Pledge for my Vampire Mob set 1950s Hollywood with Marilyn Monroe. And we have a bunch of vampires that are also mob leaders. We have Tommy guns and we have blood, sex, and gore. And the link is in the description below if you want to check that out. So it's like $7 for the digital side. And of course, I do sign all of the printed ones, so it's not that expensive. So if you want to jump in there and help me out, pay for the last 10 pages of art, that would be amazing. All right, so let's jump into these comics right now. We're going to start with Batman and Robin number 8. This is by Joshua Williamson, and this follows the Damian Wayne and Bruce Wayne developing their relationship. He has now pretty much lost all his money. He lost the cave, he lost the family, he's lost everything at this point, so it's not really even Batman anymore. But at least we get to see this relationship develop. So Victor Zsasz, they were following somebody that was they thought was kind of related to him, but also Damian also felt that his principal was someone that had trained him and was mean to him when he was younger. So they follow this guy. And we tell some of the backstory about how great he is, and he's winning awards, and he's on the soccer team. And then we get this. The artwork's okay. It's better than it was before with the splash colors and stuff to that effect. But we have Victor Zsasz. He keeps track of his kills by etching the numbers in his skin. So as he's about to be transported, there's an explosion, and this ninja guy shows up, and of course Batman and Robin are pretty much waiting for him, so they jump off the roof. There we get this nice little splash page, and we have Victor Zsasz on it. He's got his knives out already, and then he catches one of the batarangs or whatever. So the kid reveals himself and says, "I am your son." And so he's like, "I have my knife to your throat." And Damian comes in and kicks him. And then Victor Zsasz pretty much says, "I don't have a kid, man. I don't know what you're talking about." And And he says something really mean here, too. I forgot what it was. "You're my dad, and that's why I came to free you." And he says, "Whoever your real father is, they probably hate you." So the kid's already messed up. So I guess he killed this kid's parents, and psychologically he latched on to Victor Zsasz as his father because he's now messed up. But Batman didn't take it very well and practically knocks his teeth out. And Damian confronts the principal, saying that her name was Miss Harsh or whatever else, which was his code name for her when he was training him. But she doesn't agree, and it's also that she was shush, but he denies the whole thing. And then he gets hit by a bully, and Damian's already pissed off that the woman didn't break under his questioning. So Bruce is just like, "Yeah, don't kick his ass, man. Just let it go. Let He's like, "I was gonna let it go anyway," but you didn't need to jump in there. So yeah, so he knocks on the door and he sees the kid drawing, and he goes, "Let me check this out." And he said, "These are really good." And you can see kind of Damien's face there, that he's kind of happy about. He's worried and happy at the same time that his dad is taking an interest in his work, and I guess he does some, it's Damien Vane, So he's basically doing a comic strip of himself fighting a villain, and of course Bruce, encourages him, and he's glad that he's doing that. And then we had an alarm go off, and he says, "I have some alarms set up across the city when you know people aren't supposed to be. It's like deserted. Actually, the normal HQ desertion, deserted warehouse thing." So yeah, we find that this is a bat cult, and they show up, but all of a sudden somebody is kicking everybody's ass, and they're like, "What the hell is going on?" And I guess it's somebody that Damien knows called Flatline, which I do not remember her in the past. I'll have to look that one up. But yeah, we didn't get really much with the whole Victor Zaz thing. We really didn't get much. We got a whole lot of setup at this point with the whole Shush thing, and the Victor Zaz thing was thrown in at the end. But the whole Shush thing was all set up, and we never got any payoff for that so far. So I don't know what we're doing with that. We had the whole thing with the White Rabbit. So this is on 8 already, and that whole thing's never been paid off. It's almost like reading Tom Taylor. So yeah, so I like it. I don't know if this particular story translates well to the screen, but the Damian Wayne and Bruce Wayne thing. But you'd have to really develop that, because at this point in time, we've done nothing as far as seeing Damian on the screen at all. We really haven't seen any Robins on the screen. It's always been Batman, and then we had Chris O'Donnell, who was really too old for that role. But that was the only Robin we've ever seen. So I don't know. We've seen, of course, the on the small screen. We've seen on Max. We've seen Titans with Nightwing. That's about the extent of it. So it would have to be a whole lot of introduction before we could see anything on this. But they're bringing Damian Wayne in for the movies now with James Gunn, so we're kind of skipping over, 3 Robins to bring him in. It's very strange. All right, so let's jump into Wolverine. Madripor Knights. I wasn't going to get this because Chris Claremont, though he's a nice guy and did some amazing work in the 90s, I mean, he revamped the X-Men. There is no better writer for X-Men than Chris Claremont in the 90s. I mean, he was the pinnacle. But he's fallen off. I've tried to collect some of the other stuff that he's done, and it's been bad. So I was, he's kind of lost his touch. So I wasn't going to get this, but everybody said it was good. And, this has Cap and Black Widow and Wolverine in it. Those are some great characters. So, again, I was really kind of pushed to get it. And then everybody said it was good. So I said, all right, yeah, I'm just going to go get it. So we start out seeing not only Black Widow with the short hair from the 90s, so it's almost like he's picking up from that area. But we also have Jubilee and we have Psylocke, and they are, going out on the town. So we have him as Patch, which was one of his secret identities or whatever you want to call it. And it's funny how Psylocke is taller than Natasha. And of course, this is before Jubilee becomes a vampire and all that stuff. But we get this flashback down the bottom, if you can see that, where I guess Black Widow is immortal also. I don't know, because she says that Cap and Black Widow and Wolverine were all together. I mean, I understand that Wolverine ages slowly because of his adrenaline powers. I get that. And then we have Cap that was, of course, frozen and then comes back into being But I don't understand how Black Widow could have been in that time period. It doesn't compute with me. So if anybody can give me any kind of insight on that, that would be great because I don't get it. So anyway, so their Cap ends up crashing through with all the ninjas on him. I guess it's the hand. So we get the rest of the book becomes one big fight scene. So we get the snake and all this stuff going on. And Wolverine, if you look, so if you want to see that, so look at, he's got blood all over him because he's not healing. So when the blades come out of him, he's not instantly healing, so he's bleeding. And we got that cool little dodge that Black Widow does, and she's still talking to the whole thing. And Psylocke gets knocked out the window into the bottom portion of the restaurant. You know, I love how they're fighting in heels and all that stuff. But she remarks that, you know, the blades don't really kill anyone. So she grabs the katana, and of course, Jubilee gets into trouble because she can't use her powers. Her powers always kind of flaked out. But we get Wolverine comes and saves him. Wolverine saves her with the blade coming through thing. And I guess when these hand die, they turn into smoke or whatever. So they're like supernatural or whatever. So we get some really good art in here. We get him knocking, trash and swords. Natasha's always fun to watch her fight, and I guess he says, "You want some teamwork there, Cap? All right, here you go. I'm gonna throw this guy," and she throws him, and then Cap throws him into three guys. So we get the combo in like in a video game. So I guess he goes berserk and just kind of kills the rest of them. But you see, they just kind of turn into smoke, kind of like Obi-Wan Kenobi did. It was just closed. The Baquet or whatever else drop in to handle that, and they throw the rest of them out the window with wires attached to them. So just to keep them out of the battle. And I guess the head of the Baquet there is friends with Logan. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So I guess this continues on, but really it's the end portion where the story ends up really going. Because Cap says, "I need your help," and blah, 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 and Logan's like, "Yeah, I'm not helping you." And Natasha realizes that Wolverine's not healing. Wolverine continues to mess with him, and it says, "Yeah, I was going to help you anyway, no matter what, but I was just messing with you." So fun stuff. The action scenes are really good in here. We didn't get much of a story, but this is kind of leading up to the story. So I like it a lot. I really do, and it's kind of a return to form a little bit. I really kind of withhold anything about the plot because I don't know where it's going. But this is really what they need to do with Marvel films at this point. They're doing it with Deadpool and Wolverine. Instead of having this big, massive thing with the Avengers where you have, 10 different guys, this is how to do it. You pick three of them out, and you do a movie on them. Like, who wouldn't have wanted to see a Black Widow Hawkeye movie instead of having her by herself? That would have been far better than what they did. Even though I like Yelena Belova and stuff like that, I don't think they did a good job with the Black Widow movie. But if they had done just something fun, that's what everybody kind of wanted. And if we could do a Wolverine Cap Black Widow movie, gotta just go back in time and do it with Chris Evans and I don't know if Hugh Jackman will do it anymore, but he's kind of retiring the character now. But bring in somebody else to be Wolverine. That's a good way of kind of rebooting it. And I don't know if maybe what they'll do is just recast everybody, because I don't think ScarJo wants to come back either. But that would be a really good way of kind of setting up a new group with a new set of actors. I think that would work. Let me know what you guys think of that in the comments. That would be awesome. All right, so let's jump into Vampirella 666. I was gonna say that I never really got into Vampirella. I mean, I know she has this iconic look, but you really can't take her seriously because of that look. I really think that that look for her should be reserved to when she is bathing in blood or whatever, and she should have a different look. I don't think they should retire the look. I think they should just use it for something where it's a little bit more logical, so we can kind of give her, more of a serious toned book because it's basically supposed to be a horror book, right? Um, but I collected Vampirella here and there, but I never really found a story I liked that anybody's done. So we start out with, I guess, her with children, and the children kind of dissipate. I don't know. So the artwork is okay, and I like this two-page spread that they did. And what's funny about this, and when we go through it, is that they have every city that this thing goes to is a place I've lived. So we'll go through it, but it's every place not only that I visited, but I physically lived. So she's in bed. I guess they had a threesome with some kind of a warlock. I don't know. I don't know what but see, it says Los Angeles there. I lived in Los Angeles. After whatever the sex portion of it is, they have some kind of a coffee, sit down, and then she's teaching class, and this person in the back says, "You don't belong here. You're a vampire." And she's like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." Somebody slams the door, and she gets shot in the head, and Draculina's there holding a gun over her, and then she shoots the kid too. I don't know. All right, so then we have a Groundhog Day moment where it's the same exact artwork over again. She's back in bed in Los Angeles with the same thing. Some of the dialogue changes slightly, but it's basically exactly the same. And then she ends up on a psychiatrist's couch where she meets her mother in a vision or whatever else. Oh, yeah. And if you look there, it says Shrinking Vampy, and it says Buckhead, Atlanta. Buckhead is like 20 minutes from me right now. So I lived in Los Angeles, and now it's showing Buckhead, Atlanta. Pretty funny. Lake Lanier, I don't know where. I have to look that up. But obviously, it's still Atlanta. But this continues the thing with her mother. This is obviously some kind of a vision. She's not only a vampire, but she's an alien. I never really understood that portion of it. I would have eliminated the alien part. But yeah, now she's having a naked shower with the vision of her mother. I don't know. And where is that one at? That's in Georgia too. Ashthorne, Georgia. All right. So yeah, so she's having blood wine with her mom. I don't know what's going on. And then she ends up meeting this guy, and she hugs him. So it's somebody that she's known in the past. Now we're in Brooklyn, New York. So I didn't live in Brooklyn. I lived in Long Island, but again, 40 minutes away. So they picked every state that I've lived in. So we have the sex scene where she has no nipples, and then she's outside. I guess that the sun doesn't affect her. I don't know. But it's why? So this takes us Draculon. So I've not lived there. So you got me on that one. I have not lived on the planet Draculon. So we get this guy. I don't know what's going on with any of this. I'm totally confused by all of it. And that's the end of it. That's literally the end of the story. I don't know. I really don't. And then we get the second story that has very little dialogue in it, and with another artist. Kind of like that art better. I don't know. It's just I really don't understand any of it. This is So, needless to say, this is pretty bad. It's really bad. But we have that's one thing it has is a whole bunch of nice covers. But that's about the extent of it. So yeah, and of course that's advertising 667, which I would not be getting. I had high hopes for this because it was Christopher Priest. I don't know. I really don't know much about his writing, but I know that he has written stuff in the past, and they were really hyping this. But there's no story. There's just nothing there. It's totally confusing. I don't even know what they were trying to go for. But it's some kind of a Groundhog Day situation, because in the back when they're talking about the next story, if I can even get to it, yeah, the daughter of Dracula is slowly becoming aware of the fact that she is repeatedly living the same day. This is nothing new. In which she is murdered by an unknown blonde assassin. Well, she's not unknown. It's Draculina. Cracks start to form Vampirella's new status quo. Begins to realize that this reality, as well as the happy life she has here, dark consequences of elaborate charade she's living are. She is living. That doesn't even make any sense. So yeah, it's even the reboot there, whatever the recap. I would say make a good film or television show. No, I think that Vampirella could. They did a really bad one back in the 80s or 90s, early 90s, but it was a low budget. But the character can do well. It's a sexy woman who's a vampire, and just pretty much you could do anything you want with her. But this is not good. Madripor Knights, I would love to see these three characters together, even if it recast. And Batman and Robin, yeah, I guess we're going to see them together in the new James Gunn thing. So this particular story, not that great, but I hope he casts Damian well and Batman, because that's going to hold everything together. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you for watching another episode. I greatly appreciate you spending time with me. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about recasting parts of the Avengers and bringing Wolverine in, and because I really think this is Hugh Jackman's last hurrah, Deadpool 3. And also remember to like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, give me a middle finger, whatever. I am trying to grow the channel out, so if you can subscribe and ring the little bell, that would be awesome. And remember that Lords of LA, numbered 1 and 2, are on fundmycomic.com. The description below has the link. If you can help me out and subscribe pledge something to that would be amazing, even if it's small. All right, and also I just found out today that there is another Rift Storm, so I have to change either the spelling or the name of the card game that I'm developing with Mark Spears for the classic monsters, because I want it to be encompassing of anything. I know he's also even working on right now a adaptation or another set of artwork for Greek mythology that we can add in. So it's basically a living type of card game where we're continually adding stuff to it. So it's got to have a name that's all encompassing. All right, well, have a great weekend, everybody. I am going to go see the Bob Marley movie tomorrow, so I will have a review on that as well. Again, thank you guys so much, and you guys have a great weekend. All right, check out some of my other videos too. All right, bye-bye.